Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. I'm glad to be here again. Apparently, I've been requested on popular demand. They've asked for me to come back. So, Mick, they've asked for me to come back. So I guess whatever it is that I said initially was good enough to get a second invite. Alright? So, guys, thank you so much. I always appreciate feedback, and I think I got feedback from this branch, and it was good feedback. So appreciate it a lot to those that gave their comments there and that. Really appreciate it. Where do I start with you guys? You guys are really on a high level, and I need to catch you guys on that level. But more so, if last time we spoke about goals, we spoke about greatness, we spoke about attitude. This time I want us to speak about growing. So we've got the base now, so now we need to grow from where we were. Maybe we'll have a chat about this. Okay, I'll fill you in. Sure. Alright, so don't worry about this. So I want us to grow, and then you ask me, what is it to grow? Well, I'll ask you, let's start at this. I spoke about goals, but let's see how far we've extended this whole idea. Okay, so let's initially talk about a will. Who has a will? Okay, let's see hands. So the majority of us have a will. So we understand the importance of a will. It's a formal document, documented for safekeeping. It's kept with the bank, it's kept with the attorneys, so that when you pass or you're deceased, we know what needs to happen with your assets. We know what happens to your car, we know what happens to your house, we know what happens to jewelry. That's stipulated there. I've seen a standard pre-printed will that goes 2 to 3 pages. I don't know how long you're going to say. I've seen the longest I've seen is about 15 to 20 pages. A will that's 15 to 20 pages. No sophisticated, this individual's not wealthy or anything. Moderate, but 15 pages. And how many do schools have, Sam?
I don't know. A few.
A few. So around about 5 or 6?
4, maybe 5.
4? 2? That's the standard one?
About 3, 4.
About 3, 4, okay? Okay? So that's important for us, eh? So we agree that all is important here. It outlines everything that needs to happen when we passed on in exact detail. So there's no misunderstanding on what it is that's stipulated. Although family members might argue points, but that's normally straightforward. Now, by a raise of hands, who of us has a list of our dreams, our goals for the next year, 3 years, 5 years? Yeah, you tell. Obviously, I've been here before. Alright? Okay, let's see. I've got one. This is the best turnout I've ever had. I normally don't have hands that go up. So you guys cut me. I normally say, I thought as much. But I can't say that. I can't say that because we've got a few people. I know. So to those that do have that list, please give them a round of applause. Yeah. Like, so if I were to come around and I decided I'm going to be Santa Claus and you guys don't know that I'm a multi-millionaire, and I say, bring those lists. Let me see which one of these dreams I can make it a reality for your life. I have something for you. To those that don't have, how do I then help you? So, I can conclude with the people that don't have the list but have a will, we're more concerned about dying than what we are alive. Yes?
Yeah.
Wrong. Okay. Think about that. We've planned for death, but we haven't planned for our time back. Is that not important? It's very important. That's more important than planning for death. But if we don't have an objective, if we don't have that list, where are you going? Think about it. When you know you've got 2 years left, what do people do? Bucket list. It's the same thing. You want to make sure that before I die, I want to do this. That's the same as that goal list, that dream list. But now, because you're uncertain about the length of time you're going to live, you just leave it there. You don't come up with a list. But if I tell you when you're going to die, then all of a sudden that list is important. But it's important now. That's important now for those dreams, for those goals, your weekly goals, your monthly goals, your yearly goals. Whatever it is that you want to set. If you don't have a point that you're running to, how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, literally. What are you going to achieve? Alright, so I'm going to give you guys another activity with the blocks again.
Oh, no.
But differently. I think I'm going to need a table because it's going to be matchsticks. So we'll divide into groups of, let's divide into groups of 4. 3. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, it's 3 or 4 in a group. Let's see what we can actually do. Okay, so remember the objective is going. Maybe you can have a group. Let me give you a box here. Oh yeah, you're burning up the place, you believe. Okay.
Burning up the place.
Yo, do you have one? Be careful there. Alright, then you can have a group at the back there. I don't know if you guys have a 4, that you get 4, that's fine. Here's the box. And yeah, ladies, please come. There you go. And here's the box for you ladies. Alright, so what do we have there? We've got, I think it's 12 pieces of matchsticks there. Right here.
Wait, so
It's 12, yeah, it is 12. Okay, so pull out the matchsticks from the box and allocate them onto the graph there.
Two matchsticks. What did we have? Okay, as soon as you have, that's why I said something steady, because if it's on the table, then you can move away from it. Must I bring it? Is that fine? Oh, no,
Can
we
you be able to hold it?
can move to a table.
Yeah, if you move to a table, then you can leave it there, because you're going to need to work with the mathematics. Yeah, no, that's good. Just move it. I love that you're coming closer here. The answer's not yet. Yo, as long as you have an idea. So then I ask, again, you know how I like you guys counting the squares, like we did last time. How many squares do we have in there? How many? Oh, lovely. So we've seen the big one? We've seen the bigger picture. I like this is good. Some people say 4, and I get worried. So you guys have initially seen the 5. Okay, yo, no, it also says that I should have closed it out. Okay, so we're good. Alright, let's start off. Before I give you guys the task, which is going to be really, it's going to irritate you because the answer's not there, but it's going to, you're just not going to get to it initially. Let's think about the story. I like frogs. Frogs, not the leaf frog, but the ordinary frog. Okay? The ordinary frog, okay? Let's think about, you know, if you take a frog and you put it into hot water, it will immediately jump out. But if you take the frog and you put it inside a kettle and you boil the water, that frog will die in there, it won't jump out.
No.
It will never jump out. That's scientifically proven. If you put a frog inside lukewarm water and you start increasing the temperature gradually, it won't jump out. It will literally die in there.
Don't test this at home, no?
No, guys, please don't test this at home. Go onto the internet, Google this, it's there, it's factual.
Yeah. Can we increase the water in the bath? Is it
safe? No. Stop, don't even try it. Okay, let's think about this, okay? So we see that a gradual process of something is sometimes not noticed initially. So what causes this frog to jump out if it's put in extremely hot water, but then it will stay in the water if the temperature increases gradually?
That's information into wrong medicine.
Perhaps. So we believe, please come through, man. Please come through. I think we can have a chair there. So sometimes in our lives,
Acceptance.
excuse me?
Acceptance.
Acceptance. Perhaps. Yes. Okay, so we think that things that happen gradually, sometimes we don't notice them. Say, for example, you've been in the industry for 5 months, you've heard me speak, and you think, that guy's on fire, and yeah, I can do this thing, and then the sales aren't showing. You're not seeing it. And then you gradually go into a form of negativity. You don't even see it. That's a gradual process till you're dead, basically. The heat is going to kill you, because you're like a little frog. But you're trying to keep that water cool. But how do we? It's all in our minds. Remember I spoke about thought. I said our thoughts control our emotions, that controls our attitude, that controls our behavior. It's a sequence. So let's remember that, okay? So let's move on with the frog. I'm still going to get back to the heating of the frog and why it causes that. There's a French saying that says, it's not about the frog, it's about the fish. It says, petit à petit, les petits poissons vont dans le grand. So whoever's got French background there can give me an explanation of it. Nobody with French background?
Something about a small fish and a big something.
Yeah. Small fish and a big something. It just purely stipulates that gradually, as process, as time goes by, a small fish will become big. That's what it says. But that saying for the French people is so profound. They always use it. They always use it for progress. They also use it with this frog story, but they use the fish. That it's inevitable that the fish won't grow. It's inevitable that people don't grow, but we choose what we grow into. So we need to choose our thoughts. That's what's important. We don't need to be like the little frog that's inside the boiling water and we die in there. We ought to realize when we're moving into the negativity, and we ought to be able to move into the positivity. Now let's think about frogs competing. Here's a competition of frogs that are competing, and they're jumping over different levels. And these guys come over, they've got these frogs as pets, and they put them in the ring, and these frogs are jumping hurdles. So the hurdles increase in height as the levels go through. So initially, there's 100 frogs in there. So the frogs try and jump the first hurdle, and 50 frogs make it over the first hurdle. But the 50th frog is struggling to jump the hurdle. So the people are looking, and they're thinking, you know what, that little frog that jumped last is less likely to make it on the high hurdle, because it struggled on the first hurdle. And everybody's thinking, okay, now there's 50 frogs that have made it through the first hurdle. Now what happens with the second hurdle? Second hurdle, 10 frogs make it over, but the 10th one is the one that struggled on the first hurdle. So the people are thinking, but this is interesting. This is the same frog that struggled to jump the first hurdle, but it's among the 10 that have made it for the third hurdle. But it struggled, it's the 10th that made it through. So the 9 jumped pretty comfortably over the hurdle, but the 10th one struggled to go. So then I'll ask you, then you would say perhaps, it's less likely that the frog that struggled over the first and the second hurdle would be the one to win the race. Not so? We conclude, we want to take previous activities and form a conclusion. And that's how financial advisors work. They use market research from the past to give a future prediction. Yes? That's normally what we would do. Because you performed well last year, we're under the impression you'll perform well this year. Sometimes behavior does carry on. However, some activities can't be repeated. So if that frog struggled, it might struggle again, but perhaps it always makes it. And that's our special kid. That's the special agent you have. That's the agent that will break the records. But we never see it that way. Once we have a struggling agent, we want to bring it. You don't want the person who's not bringing in the deals. We always want to see the deals, but perhaps we should change the way we see things. Perhaps we should reanalyze stuff. So now they're on the third hurdle. Now there's 10 frogs in this hurdle now. The hurdle is slightly higher. Only 3 frogs make it. But the third frog is the one that's been struggling all the way. But now you tell me, it was less likely for that frog to make it to that level. And then we think, okay, fine. There's 3 frogs there. And the scientists said, okay, fine, we've never had any frog that's jumped to this level. So the 3 frogs, we might need to determine a winner from the 3 frogs. And the one guy says, okay, Mick, I'll give you the frog, okay? That can be your frog. Mick says, leave my frog alone. And the scientists say, Mick, you're wasting your time. This frog's not going to jump. We've seen past results. There's no frog that's jumped this level. So we might as well give you first place for the first 3 frogs. And Mick says, no, leave my frog in there. Then the frogs start jumping. It doesn't look like these frogs are going to go through. But he knows something that we don't. These frogs start trying to jump over, and the other 2 guys say, you know what, I'm putting my frog out. This height is way too high. It's impossible to jump this height. Mick says, leave the frog there. And the people start gathering around this little froggy, and this froggy's trying to jump this level. That's not making it. But he continues trying to jump, continues, and eventually the frog does jump through. And the scientists are thinking, wow, we've never seen this. We've never had a frog that's jumped this level ever. History shows that frogs can't jump this high. And then the scientists decide, okay, fine, we want to find out what's special about this frog. What caused this frog to be able to jump the level? Mick comes to me and I say to him, buddy, how did this frog jump? And he says to me, listen, my frog is deaf.
Okay.
Oh yes. Oh yes. My frog is deaf. All the other frogs could hear. All the people saying, that's impossible to jump this level.
Yeah.
All the other people, all the other frogs heard it. It's impossible to jump that level. It's never been done before. But the deaf frog didn't hear the naysayers. It didn't hear the naysayers. When it looked to the left, it saw people cheering. It didn't see, it didn't hear what the people were saying. It looked to the right hand side, it saw people cheering. So it went on. It went on. It went on. So that support is very important. And forget the naysayers. You decide your goals. You decide your goals. And here's one thing. If you make those goals and they don't scare you, they're not big enough. They're not big enough. You have dreams and goals so big that when you share them, people have a chuckle and they're big enough. And they should bring tears to your eyes. Because when you realize those dreams, they should bring about change in your life. And that's when you have meaningful dreams and goals. And that's when you can push to make them a reality. Like my story, when I was 13 years old, I wanted to go to university. I graduated. 5 years back, I said, I want to be a motivational speaker. What am I doing now? Let me tell you what my goal is for the next 5 years. You want to know?
Yes.
I'll blow you away. Alright? Let me share with you. For the next 5 years, my goal is to own 6 vehicles that are above the price of 1.5 million. I'm looking at building a house for 5.5 million. I'm looking to have an international non-profit organization that runs through Africa, and I'm looking to own a multi-million development company in Africa.
5 years.
In 5 years. All companies
Did we
are
send you
registered.
the house?
Come and listen to this. I like that. So you listen to that.
Consider it done.
Thank you so much. Listen to that. So I've made 2 of my dreams come true, and you guys are already buying into what I'm telling you. But this, if I tell somebody else who doesn't know me, they chuckle. Say, buddy, you know what you're talking about? like really, do you hear yourself? How far are you now? That's not important. That's not important. That's important to know where you're going. It's not important to know how you're going to get there. So you set the goals. You set the goals, and let the people chuckle. And that's what's going to drive you. When the people have disbelief in you, that's when you're going to come. That's when you're going to push. Because you've got a point to prove. But more so, you've got a dream to realize. Okay, so we've got the 5 blocks. Now let's come back to reality. Let's leave the frogs. Come back to reality. Now, I say to you, I've got those matchsticks. The rules are on there. So with the other blocks, there were no rules. I gave you all the rules. So you could, now the rules are on there. So you read the rules, you go through the first one, and it says now, to make 7, you're going to have to think small squares. Now from the 5, I want you to move 2 matchsticks and give me 7 blocks. Yes.
Bring the mic sticks. Bring
No problem. With those matchsticks, I need you to rearrange them. So I've got 7. So I've got 7. What is this? Squares.
Can I use 2?
Let's remember a square. It's got 4 equal sides.
Equal size 9. You can only use 2 matchsticks.
It doesn't matter what you use. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking we were doing.
It was working though.
That's
Maybe, trust me, I know you can do this. These ladies, I know you can do this.
They're going to do one extra one day.
Is it the axis of width?
It is then. You can make 7 blocks.
Yeah, there is one just 2. We have to take small squeeze. No, we've got 7. So let's give 9 and that's 1. Let's give him that's not 7. That's what I was thinking.
Yes. Sometimes you're there and you just don't know you're there. So you guys, the presents are coming through. So I told you, you see, I gave them some little education and you got a Yes, very nice. This was quick. Normally it takes a while. Can you rearrange them and put them normally so that people don't see it? Yo, they got it. Yo! Oh, goodness. I see some, I'm just not going to say. Sometimes you need to work with what you have to create more. And sometimes it doesn't look like you don't have them, but it's very possible. You can only move 2. And you have to only move 2. You can only move 2. And it's supposed to be squared. 4 equal sides. 4 equal sides is squared. Look at that.
There's a rectangle. No, but that's a square. That's 2.
I think the trick is where you move the sticks. I think people have the idea, but where to move the sticks. I don't know if it was just laughing. Mick, don't show them, buddy. But they're not over.
That's not 8.
Huh? No, because you will have to move down the
Because that's a hard way. Ja, das ist nicht square.
That's the big one.
Okay.
Oh yes, you put these 2. Yes. So you can't count the big one. See us in that.
In instance, yeah, but for a time, fine. Actually, in instance, you're right. Make a good call.
Don't tell anyone else.
Are you getting there, ladies? Is it happening?
But we building more rectangles.
We need squares. Please stay with them. I didn't. I came here so you could say. Yo, but I don't think it recorded you while you were there. I like the smile. Yeah, I like the smile. And I see the smile, I know you figured it out. Anyway, you followed this. So that's fine. But it's good that you did it on your own and you realize. Sometimes you don't realize what you have.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, you don't realize what you have. You know? Sometimes you just need to, yeah, you need to work with what you have. Come ladies, beauty does definitely go with brains. Please.
just leave that. Just
I'm
leave
showing you
it.
one.
And then it moved. Yeah, it makes sense. So that's fine.
Okay.
Your diff from something like that.
To make it easier. Yeah, that's the shape.
I love that.
So that I made something and the diary last night. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your ability. So now say now is what you can do.
Yes, yes.
What you do, then what you like, what you achieve. So it's been true.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to ask you to just share
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Very true.
That's along the lines of what Stephen Covey talks about.
Something
he
else.
talks about
Change that.
How did you do it?
It's taken me years. It's taken me years. It's not a week. I went down now.
I'm trying to change my
I
son's
think we're
mind.
on the right
And
track.
that has taken
In terms of our-
me years. It wasn't my pleasure. Years of being
But it's actually so physical match this.
Yes, no, he asked me how I changed it. This is to help me change it. Because I love it so much. I love it so much
I'm going to
that
let you guys share this. This is happening. I leave this on the... Yeah. But, yeah. Here we go. How did you guys get it?
I realized that we need to give grades up the
And it took you guys, I think
And
it
now
took
we
2 days
now
to
we
get
need to do
it.
it.
I'm telling you, I put it there, and I thought, okay, watch it. I started moving the stuff in the middle. That's why.
Stealing the idea.
Huh? No!
Can we have to bring it back to it?
No! I don't know if they.
We'll take 50 bucks from each one.
Okay, so that team's got it. That team's got it. I'm not sure. Show me. No, I want to say something. No match here.
But that's a match. That's a picture of the match.
No. I need the match to make the picture.
don't worry guys, it takes a square to see a square.
Does it? But then we move 3.
No. You can only move 2. Yeah. And it's more pressure now when you guys.
That's the only way I think.
Must be another way.
Yeah, you're right. Don't think.
That's that.
You absolutely.
Nice. Congratulations. There we go. Finally. Yes. But it took 3 frames. Yeah. No. 7.
Where's the 3?
4, 5, 6. Isn't that 8? Where's the
Where's the 1, 2, 3? Show me.
One.
But I want to know how to make a square without moving.
No, it's not
Okay.
straight. 1. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You got it. Okay, so sometimes we need to use what we have to get further, right? And sometimes we have all we need. I'm going to put a twist to this thing. I think what I had to say, you guys have grasped, and I think you guys are on a high level now. That's why you guys are figuring this out too quick. I gave it to my department, they're still busy. Okay? So I'll get there, they'll still be, because they're doing it on their own. When you're on your own, it stresses you the first 4 times you start doing it because you're thinking, nah, this boy's talking nonsense. This doesn't work. You're already on the wrong side. Your reticular activating system is picking up and motivating. It's a machine. Once you get it running in one direction, you need to bring it to a total halt to change the direction. It's like a car. If you're driving and you go 1 and you want to reverse, you can't put reverse. You'll break the gearbox. You need to put the car to a halt, dead still, and change direction. You put R, and then the car starts moving back. So your reticular activating system works like that. So you look at the squares and you think, Sam, it can't be. Your reticular activating system is already generating thoughts that are telling you it's impossible. And you'll start making moves and it won't add up. You start making moves and it won't add up. But when you start thinking, perhaps there's something there, you've come to a total halt and you're moving in a different direction. And it's difficult. It's difficult. And I can't wait to share his story. And I think what's important here is that motivation comes from within. I can come here and say a whole lot of things, and you catch one thing that will motivate you. And that's what I'm looking for. I want you to have one thing that you hold on to, that you can always refer to, and you know that brings positive thoughts. Because you've got a bank account in your head that you're depositing thoughts, but you decide what it is that you want to withdraw. So if you get into a situation that makes you feel negative, and you go through to your brain, and you only withdraw negative thoughts, you'll have a cycle of negative thoughts coming through. That's just psychology put simply. And if you go to your brain and you want positive stuff, you'll withdraw positive things. Think about it. When you meet somebody that you don't like, it's not only their face that's wrong, it's their clothing and their car and everything else that they're going with. Not so? But if you see somebody that you love, their clothes look good, their shoes look good, they've got a nice watch, they've got, I don't notice these watch. I think this guy's got a fancy watch on. Because I like him. He came to me, he greeted me, he said, hi Mick, I heard you spoke, and I just automatically thought, wow, this is a nice guy. That's it. But it's my thoughts. I decide what it is that I want to think. And that's what's important. Because I can't tell you anything more. See, motivation is one thing that people think that this guy's going to come and give us information and we're going to be powered up. No, you decide to be powered up. I can come here every week, but you could otherwise could still be negative. But you decide what it is that you take from the talk that makes you feel positive. So Mick, you want to come through? Tell us about your story. A short story that he has about... Yes.
A short story. I'm going to share my story.
Yes, please.
All right. I used to have a construction company, which I took over from my dad. And obviously in those days it was good to go into good to take over your father's business. So I took this business and I started working with my dad. Hated what I did. My dad taught me everything. He taught me how to build houses. I can build houses, shops, whatever you want. But I hated it. I went to technical college, studied, qualified, hated it. It just wasn't my passion. I used to wake up in the morning, go to work depressed. I then met my ex. When we broke up, I went into a deep, deep, deep depression. Okay? Where I used to go to work in the day, come home at 6 o'clock at night, shower, go to a restaurant where it's quiet, carry on working on my laptop, and I could feel that depression. But one thing my ex has done that's good, not just one, two, my daughter, and she basically introduced me into this business. And I started helping her. And that's where I found my passion. And this business has taught me how to be more positive, how to handle tough times better. And most of all, it's taught me that you wake up every single morning and you say, and you choose to be happy. You say, okay, I've got these issues to deal with today. And they're big problems, but I choose to be happy today, and I will deal with it as I can as the day goes by.
Yes.
But I believe that if I had stayed in that same circle of running my construction business, I would have still been a horrible man, depressed man. In the meantime, I'm happy. That's my story.
Thank you so much. Alright, so everybody can become a motivational speaker. You saw that? Yeah. It's easy, but you need the passion for it. Yeah. You see, you need the passion for it. And that I tell the little kids, I say, you follow your passion and the money will follow you. Because when they're in high school, all that matters is the money. You can't tell them anything else. They just want the money. But you tell them, follow your passion and the money will follow you. That's it. That's what it is. shifting paradigms.
It's a passion. I've never, in the last 10 years I've been doing this business, woken up one day and said, oh, another day of work. Or woken up one weekend and said, oh, Sunday show. Never.
Exactly.
I love it so much.
There we go.
It's never felt like work.
Exactly.
But so people say to me, you're going to burn out. And I say, but you don't understand.
Yes.
I'm having such a good time.
There's something else that's driving you. That's the passion. That's the passion. And guys, that's what's important. If I have people amongst you that share their stories and you realize that, Mac is here, he's talking about this, he's got a point. So that young man is actually not feeding us nonsense, it's actually the truth. Paradigm shifts are what's important. So perhaps you're in this industry and you haven't figured out what it is that you actually want to do, but you kind of like this industry and you're thinking, perhaps this is an option for you. Perhaps it is. You've made a rational decision, a well-informed decision to be in this industry. Maybe it's our thoughts that we need to change. There's nothing else we can change for you. That's the way you think towards the industry that will allow you to move forward. But sometimes you need the information. You need to use different strategies to get ahead. Think about this, a paradigm shift example for you guys. I go to a train and I sit in the train and I'm reading my newspaper, and in the subway here comes these three little boys. They run into this train station and they move my newspaper around, they're under the chairs, they're just causing havoc. This guy comes and he has to sit next to me. He's totally oblivious of what's happening around. These kids are just all over the show, they're jumping on the chairs, they're just disturbing the people. So, these kids came with this guy and by resemblance I can tell he's the father. And I think to myself, okay, let me not be subjective, let me be objective. And I re-look at the situation, and I still see no positivity in it. These kids are causing havoc. So my thoughts run down to my attitude. I'm not too happy about this. That's going to run down to my behavior that would probe me to say, hey buddy, what's going on? So I decide, okay, I need to do this gently. I can't now tell this man, hey, these kids are making noise. So I shut him a bit and I say, sir, could you try tame your kids just a bit? Just a bit. So, this has run through a whole thought process. I've seen the kids, I've tried to reanalyze the situation to perhaps see it in a positive light. I see no positivity, and so I choose my attitude, I choose the way I'm going to react. I didn't say, hey sir, get ready, help your kids here. I said to him, sir, would you tame your kids a bit? And he looks at me, yes? Yes, that's it! That's it! That's it. That's the story. That's the story. She has given me more information. And this guy tells me, sir, I've lost my wife. And we just come to the hospital. These kids have seen their mother pass away. They don't know how to take this. They don't know how to take it. And pretty much I don't know too. And he sits there and he lets these kids be. How do you even control something like that? How do you control? But now he's given me information. What does that do to my attitude? I've changed totally. 180 turn. Right there. I've got a different perspective. If any of you touch those kids, I'll kill you. Because I have more information than what you have. If Meg is going to hold one of the boys, I say, Meg, let's just trust his mom. You let the kid climb over you. It's okay then. It's a paradigm shift. Initially, you thought these kids were irritating you. All of a sudden, there's some kind of compassion. It's like, let them be. Let them be. Sometimes the more information you have, the better it is. But we have all these structures we need. We have our brains, but we need to choose. It's the same as the squares. You see the squares and you think 7? Initially, it doesn't look possible. You stop moving them around, it doesn't look like it's going to add up. But it can. You have all you need to be the best you can be. You have it all. You have it all. But you need to know how to use it. You need to know how to use it. So that's one story that allows us to understand paradigms and how they shift and how one word or just simple input of information can change your whole paradigm. It can change how you think or how you see things, totally. But the one profound thing I want to talk about, which for me relates to being a state agent, who knows about the Chinese bamboo tree? You know? Fantastic. Okay? Anybody else? Not. The Chinese bamboo tree is the most interesting tree to actually study. It's Chinese, obviously, it grows in China. Alright, so that's why we don't know much about it. But here's what's interesting about this tree. It's the same as being an agent. You are a new agent, you come into the industry, and you start marketing. And you're not selling any houses, but your boards are out. You're always on the show houses. You're always meeting people, but it's not turning into something you're actually seeing. And then you start doubting that, perhaps you start doubting yourself. So perhaps this industry is not mine, but it is yours. You've made an informed decision, a rational decision to be here. Think about this. In 1 year, the Chinese bamboo tree just stays on the ground. It's a seed. But then what happens when you're an agent for a year and you don't sell anything? And you don't have that passion. You want to dig up that seed and throw it away. But you leave it there. You see, when you have a goal, when you have a dream, you know you've got an end point. You know that you've got something you're working towards. But now, if you don't have the dream, you don't have an objective. So you'll come into the industry for a year, then you'll fade away. You'll say, perhaps this is not for me. Now somebody that will come through, like me, will come through into the industry for a year. He'll just be marketing, being in the meetings, being all positive, and you guys are thinking, this guy's not even making any sales. But he knows what he's doing. So the bamboo tree in the first year doesn't grow. Nothing happens. So imagine his ex-wife comes through and says, Mick, how are you doing? You're still watering that plant. So, yeah, I'm watering it.
She's an estate agent.
Oh my, listen to this.
She used to say people will never make it.
Exactly. In the first year, imagine this, even the management team here, for the first year he's watering. The seed doesn't break ground. You can't see anything. And you start thinking, perhaps he's new in the industry. In the second year, he's still watering. So the ex-wife comes through and gives you the divorce papers, make you out of your mind. Here's the ring. I think you're going nuts, you're going cuckoos. Because in the second year, you're still watering, but we don't see the tree. What about your kids? Dad, what are you doing? Now I'm watering the seed. Is that going to be a tree or a plant? That's going to be a tree. But where is it? I normally see people watering stuff we can see, but this we can't see. It's still underground. What happens on the third year? Nothing happens. You can't see anything. On the third year, the bamboo tree still hasn't broken ground. Now you've been in the industry for 4 years, only sold 2 properties. You're already considering to leave. But wait, what were the goals? Are they written down? Can you refer to them? Do you have them somewhere where you can read, oh, my goal is this? So you still keep focused on the goal. No, you really want to move out of the industry. On the 4th year, it still doesn't break ground. How about patience? Hey? You guys think you're patient? 4 years! It doesn't break ground. It's still underground. But you need to water it. If you stop watering it, the seed dies. It will never grow. Consistency, the patience, and the trust that it is going to grow. That's the same thing you have for your dreams, for your goals. You set them too high. And Meg will tell you that this is going to be the best tree or the tallest tree in the whole neighborhood. And you look at him, buddy, after 3 years I haven't seen anything. It's less likely. And we look at probabilities because we people, we want to analyze, we want to rationalize. But sometimes it's not important. It's not important for me to know how I'm going to go abroad. It's not important for me to know how I'm going to go into Africa. That's not important for me now. What's important is that I have the goals written. Now I can always visualize them in my head. I visualize them.
I think that after our meeting last time,
yes,
I've got a crazy dream.
Yes,
a stove that's 90,000 rand, but I want it.
Yes,
I've got a written quote.
Yes.
I went in and I got a written quote. So I've got it there.
That's
after
yeah, I remember you mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's not a
Baby sheet.
You'll be shocked. Ravonia Drive, there's a Lamborghini store there. Ask them how many times they've seen me. Ask them how many times they've seen me. That's the coolest thing you said. No! You kidding me? I saw that. I got my suit. I drive my motorcycle when I go there. I don't drive my car. But you see that. Hey, wait, close.
Yeah, I did that in Hard Park.
Exactly.
But you won't go with me. She says you're crazy.
But you go. Because if you want to fly, the best thing for you to go sit at the airport and have coffee there.
Jump out the airplane.
You can do that too. That's alright. But you make it a reality. I go. The guys there, they know me by name.
Yes.
I said, no, I'm not ready to sign the check yet. I'm not saying I don't have the funds. I just tell you I'm not ready to sign the check yet. These guys are under the impression this boy's father must be living in the area. And he's there, got lots of bucks. I make sure when I go there, I brush my teeth, brush my hair, and I walk in, and I say, can I sit inside there? He's like, yeah, sure. Now I walk through the door. Mr. T, how you been? I'm well, I just want to sit inside. It's like, yeah, go for it. Open the doors for me. I like want that car so much. It's going to park upstairs. It doesn't park downstairs. My garage is going to be on top for all 6 of those vehicles. But that's what I'm sharing with you guys. And you think, wow, this boy is 27 years old and has such big dreams. But you can have them too. Don't be jealous for my dreams. You can have yours. Have yours. We can talk about yours. Let's talk about your aircraft. Let's talk about your... So I start thinking, hey, geez, buddy, you want a jet. Perhaps I want one too. But who's restricting us? Remember the pumpkin in the glass jar? We're restricting ourselves. We don't want to grow beyond that. But we have the capacity. The people that are the multi-millionaires in our world, what do they have that we don't have? What do they have that we don't have? Perhaps we've limited ourselves. Perhaps we thought we can't make it. What does Andrew Ford say? If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're still right. So the decision is yours. So grow. Set the goals. Look at the reality. Weigh your options and what's the way forward. That's the grow. I come with these acronyms like the hot cakes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But think about it. You set the goals. Look at the reality. It's on in your head. Don't tell me reality is what we see. We social beings, what we see and what we rationalize is what we've been exposed to. We choose what it is that we want to see. Hence the options. And the W, it's our way forward. The way forward is your decision on where to go. Now, here's the story of the bamboo tree. After 5 years, it breaks ground. Look what patience said. 5 years, it breaks ground. Within a matter of 5 months, it grows 27.5 meters. Oh yes. Now Mick is the man here. He's the guy that's selling 5 properties a month there. Top agent. He's taking all the awards. Then the people that have left the industry, it's like, yo, that's the guy that's struggling. Check him now. But he has vision. He has those goals. He has the patience. And the passion. And the passion. Yeah. And the passion. Because the money then is following him. The money then is following him. Perhaps I might not be credible enough to speak to you adults about such things. But let me summon the most brilliant mind of our times, Albert Einstein. What does he say? He says, you tie your life, not to people, and not to things, but to goals. And perhaps we can reach some form of happiness. Thank you so much.
Before we finish, sorry.
Ginny, please come through and share it with us. She read something and she wanted to, I think it's brilliant what she has to say.
Yes, you can.
It was just a little quote that I read, which I thought was so clever. It says that your ability is what you can do. What you do is determined by your motivation. Your motivation and what you achieve is determined by your attitude.
That was so well done. Thank you so much. Can you come next Wednesday?
It's not after because next Wednesday is June Charlotte.
Yeah, first of all, I also just want to thank NGL for organising this for us. If it wasn't for Henriette and them, we wouldn't have met today, and we wouldn't have all this motivational talk. So thank you very much, Henriette. I'm sure you're all feeling positive now, but just feet and deposit, like you said, all the positive stuff. Like, yeah, we feel very positive now, but now we have to carry on from here. Okay. Then next Wednesday, guys, we've got IOL year again. Just for the revise on the system and for those who have missed that meeting, also to see how the back in office system work. So please try all of you to attend next Wednesday's meeting. And at the end of the month, the last Wednesday, the 30th, we've got the photography here as well, that you also should not miss, please. The calendars, Some of you have replied to my email and some haven't. Have you all checked your information on the spreadsheet that I sent through to you guys? Please just respond. We're still waiting for the calendars from head office. But as soon as we receive that, we can start with the printing. So we get our calendars early enough so you can start handing it out to all your clients in your database. So if you can please just look at that information, confirm, because that's the information that will be printed on the calendar. And if we proceed with that and there's a mistake, we can't fix 500 calendars or 200 calendars. So it's very important that your contact details, fax number, if you've got a personal fax, just let me know. All that information must be correct and just confirm your quantity. Okay. Then, yeah, I've also got a quote for today that I'll end my meeting off with, and it's as follows. Doing what you like is freedom. Liking what you do is happiness. So actually, you know what you're going to talk about.
Last week as well, or the week before.
Yeah,
I'm very happy.
It's often that my quote is
Related.
relevant to the meeting. And this I've done yesterday. I didn't even know what you're going to be talking about. So yeah, let's have another week like last week. For those agents who haven't had a sale yet, I know this is your week. You're going to have your sale. Remember our incentive. So keep your eyes on your goals for the sales and listings for the end of this month. And Vivian, I'll let her update also the sales for you and the listings so that you can see how many you still need to achieve your goals for September with your sales, listings and mandates. So keep your eyes on this board, guys. Thank you very much. All the best and good real estate.
Is it still recording? Do I have that? I have that. You want to do it again in slow motion? Yes. Fantastic. I like it.